Today, I'm reading Ripples number 1027, Pain versus Suffering. Pebble, Boulder, Ponder, two quotes and something to think about for the week. The pebble comes to us from Dan Millman, shared by Leslie in Madison, Wisconsin, and it says, pain is a relatively objective physical phenomenon. Suffering is our psychological resistance to what happens. Events may create physical pain, but they do not in themselves create suffering. Resistance creates suffering. The boulder is from David Doan, written and shared by David in Perrysburg, Ohio. And if you've been watching these or if you read Ripples, you know how much I love it when I get to share the wisdom of our own ripplers in the pages here. And David and I actually had an exchange for several times back and forth as he shared with me some of his thoughts about the difference between pain and suffering. And here's what we came up with. Life provides pain. We provide the suffering. We don't have control over eliminating pain altogether because pain is a part of life. There is no pain-free living. We do, however, have at least some control over how we suffer pain. To suffer means to carry, and we are in charge of our way of carrying pain. We learn ways of carrying pain just like we learn so much else. Some ways we learn are efficient, and some are inefficient, and some even make the pain worse. Nope, we cannot eliminate pain from our lives, but we can suffer or carry pain in a way that doesn't create additional or unnecessary pain. Our challenge is to learn and develop efficient ways to suffer pain. And then the ponder, the part that I write. There have been a few periods in my life where I didn't realize how attached I had become to pain, unintentionally creating a downward spiral of suffering that just made things worse. It isn't that the pain wasn't legitimate, it's just that the pain triggered suffering, which then led to more pain. Without realizing it, I was keeping myself from joyful moments that are possible even when pain is present. Pain does have an upside. It serves as a useful warning alarm for our bodies and our brains. The problem is that it can make it seem like pain is the only thing going on at a given moment. A few months ago, I was struggling with chronic pain that was really bothersome until I happened upon two activities that shifted my perspective and short-circuited the pain-suffering loop. One activity involved mentally scanning my body to identify the places that had no pain. It wasn't about ignoring the pain, but instead putting it into context. Noticing all the places I was not in pain reminded the system that pain is just one part of what is happening at any specific moment. I stumbled upon the other activity while grappling with a string of nightly headaches and yet not allowed to take my usual medication. I needed a distraction, so I took myself out to a nice dinner. On the way home, I passed our zoo, which was featuring their holiday lights. I wasn't sure whether the crowds and cold and blinking lights would make things better or worse, but I decided to experiment, and I found it to be a delightful diversion. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed the adventure despite the significant pain I was also feeling. So I hope the next time you're struggling that you can change your relationship to pain by taking charge of suffering. Peace, Paul. Thank you so much for joining me as I read Ripples for Reflection, weekly inspirations for unleashing your best self. If you want to read along with me, you know you can go to theripplesbook.com, snag a copy. Let me know if you've been watching or listening to this podcast so that I can sign the book for you. And I'd also like to thank Elizabeth, Adrian, and Lisa, as well as all my Patreon peeps who make this possible. Theripplesbook.com for a book, and I will see you next time. Thank you.